George McCurey from the Attorney General's office, which will conduct the meeting tonight. Before we get started, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, and then Pastor Farber will lead us in prayer.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray while we're standing. Lord, we sure do love you. Thank you for a beautiful day. Thank you for the little bit of rain that we received this morning as well. God, I pray that you'll bless our country, bless our state, bless our representatives that are here tonight and others that are serving us around the state as well. Thank you for your many, many blessings that you drop upon us on a daily basis. God, as we're here tonight, we're here to get some information. I pray that you'll give us understanding, and I pray that everything here will be honoring in your sight. We ask all of these requests in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. We want to thank Senator Scott Hill and his wife Lynette for being here, and also we have a school board member, Paul Gebhardt. And I think that's all our important people we have here tonight. Besides Tina and I. I'm going to make a few announcements before we get started. I'm not quite ready tonight for some reason. Our next meeting is going to be on September the 15th. Don't know what we're going to be doing yet. It probably will be a candidate forum, but we're not sure which candidates we'll have yet, and not sure what whether we'll have it here or the Knights of Columbus. So mark September the 15th on your calendar, and then just keep an eye on our Granny Brigade page and listen to KINA Coffee Talk, and you'll find out what's going on. While Scott is talking, or George is talking, we'll pass a donation basket around to help pay for the room and our streaming. So just, if you got a couple of dollars to throw in our donation basket, that would help us a lot. And I think, silence all your phones, please. And then after the meeting is over, those that are able to, if you want to pick up your chair and help us get it on the racks, and that will help us a lot to get done. And Tina, you have anything else? I think that's it. George, it's all yours now.
You're going to want to turn that down. Please turn that down. I'm loud by nature. So, can everybody hear me? If I just talk this loud, is this loud enough for you all? Because I would be much more comfortable talking loud like I do every day than with a mic. First of all, thank you for having me. Again, my name is George McCurey. That's the Attorney General, Chris Kovach. Sorry, you just get George. My position is a public outreach manager for the office, and I travel around the state and I talk to residents about the actual services of the Attorney General's office. Most people, when they think about the Attorney General's office, they think of one office. We have 100 attorneys on staff, plus another 100 supporting staff. There are 200 people on staff. We serve all residents of the state of Kansas. And I always promote this. This is the highest law enforcement in the state right here. Interpretation, enforcement. The KBI falls under the Attorney General. The only law enforcement agency that does not fall under the Attorney General is the state police, and that is under the Kansas administration of the governor. But all other law enforcement. So our responsibility is to interpret the laws that are set in place for you and representing you. Kansas Consumer Protection Act. We've got a roofing division. We send out notifications monthly during storm season about roofing companies, because the scam with roofing companies, they're storm chasers. They're just trying to, hey, if they can hit a town where they can see havoc and go in and get $20,000, $40,000 worth of checks and go to the next town, they're gone. So always check if you're in a storm situation. Always, first of all, never write a check to the roofer. Never write a check to the roofer. Always talk to your insurance person first. And first of all, before you hire any roofer, you can call our office and verify that they're in good standing. You can check with the Secretary of State and see if they're in good standings. So you're already establishing a level of, this is good business. They're in good standing with the state. That's just another example of our divisions. We have a civil division. Our civil division is large. COMA regulations, civil litigations when individuals are struggling to represent themselves and they've been up against a business and they have a case and they file a written complaint, we will follow up with it. That's one of the things that I want to tell you is that, and I brought business cards back here. We were one of the last Attorney General's offices that answers the phone. And I kind of like to refer to it as our switchboard. Because when you call with a problem, you don't know what division. You don't know who to talk to. And when you're in distress and you have a problem, the last thing you want to do is go into a voicemail system and try to listen to this nonsense, because I'm already irritated and now I'm starting to get really... Anybody picking up what I'm saying right now? We have two women that sit next to the phone. If one of them leaves their chair, a substitute comes, because from 8 to 5, we're answering the phone every day, because when you tell them your problem or your issue or your concern, they're going to know which direction to send you. Is it civil? Is it criminal? Is it livestock investigators? Is it roofing? Is it victim services? Is it Inspector General? Which is a whole topic I will cover later, because our Medicaid Inspector General got his title changed last July. After he turned in a report to legislation last April that he found $22.8 million worth of fraud and waste in Medicaid, they were said, that is great, you're no longer the Medicaid Inspector General, you're the Inspector General, and here's 4 more agencies that you get to now look into. I'm going to tell you, it's real. And there is fraud and there is waste, and he's finding it and he's discovering it. We're able to now audit some of our state agencies that have never been audited before. They've never had DCF, Department of Children and Family. I don't know that there's an audit on record for that department. SNAP benefits, all the SNAP benefits, not sure that has been. There are so many programs like that that have not been audited or checked for waste and fraud. I know the Inspector General, and I'm always looking for nuggets. I'm like, come on, man, just give me something. I know you got a big report. He just says, hey, sit back, wait on the report. Give me a nugget. Come on. One of the things that they found through Department of Children and Family is thousands of women for children. 20 years ago, we used to tell kids straight. Now the slang for everything. Senior centers, kids, bullying. If you see something, say something. Get somebody else involved. Don't try to take it on yourself. If you see something, say something to somebody else. And I'll refer to that later on in the presentation. When you get a text and you're not really sure, ask somebody. A lot of times when we share what we know, as soon as it comes out of here and we hear it here, we go, oh, never mind. I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't. So there are several things that our agency's doing for the residents of Kansas. This guy's serious on crime. This guy's serious. I mean, fentanyl deaths are down. Serious crime is down. And I say fentanyl deaths are down for the first time. In the month of February and March, I personally delivered Narcan to 41 universities across the state of Kansas. And how we got that Narcan and how we got those distribution boxes to get on college campuses was lawsuits settled from pharmaceutical companies over the opioid crisis. Because all pharmacy companies have had to pay for the opioid crisis. They not only paid us cash, they also paid us in Narcan, which we then in turn gave away. And we're still giving away. I've had probably 10 schools in the last 10 days phone my office because all of them have my card because I delivered every single box. Hey, students are coming back. We want to get our box full. Tell me how to reorder. Because not only did we deliver the box of Narcan full, we gave them a form and said, if you need more, order it here. It comes free from DECA. We've got several thousands of servings that we'll serve to you until we run out. I can honestly say I delivered Narcan to schools across the state of Kansas. There wasn't a lick of Narcan on the university. Not in a first aid kit, not in an AED kit. I made 2 school nurses cry through this process. One of them had lost 3 students in an 18-month period to fentanyl overdose. The crazy thing was, it was an honor to be a part of a program like that. I'm proud to say I delivered there at 41 universities. The crazy thing is that we know that it's that much of an epidemic and we know the target market, so we're out giving this stuff away. 1 serving of Narcan costs $30, which is why some junior colleges didn't even have it on campus because they're flat broke and they can't afford to put an additional item in their budget. This is the kind of stuff that we're doing for the residents of Kansas. I didn't know about. Most people have no idea about. Those settlements from pharmaceutical companies, we get settlements from different companies all the time. 9 times out of 10, if one of our attorneys is filing a suit, I mean, we have one gal, lower to deaths, about 5 foot nothing, Sarah, she is a spark plug. She attacks, and when I say attacks, she attacks social media companies. The only people that she's ever sued through our agency is Meta, X, Facebook, Instagram, all social media companies. Did anybody watch the news today about the lawsuit that hit the paper today? Today, in the state of California, anybody? This is the state of California, and I forget, there's several other states, and there's 39 other states at bay, and they are suing Facebook and Meta right now for like, it's a crazy number. It's like almost, I want to say 100 billion? But that number sounds crazy, but I think that's the number. And these states have cases against these social media companies because they can show that their algorithms are addictive and they're targeting to youth, and they can prove it. And they knew it before how do they know it? Because they put it into the algorithm. And now they're being exposed on it. We didn't realize the effects that we were having with kids when we gave them phones too early. They don't understand the stress. They can't process like the adults do. Sometimes I can't process everything that I see on my phone. It's too much at 13, at 14. I want to get into fraud and scam, but I also have to tell you about the other realities of what's going on in different divisions. We have a victim services division. Last year we gave away $2.9 million to victims of crime. To victims of crime. And that's, listen, let's say somebody's been molested. We're not giving them a $500 stipend. First of all, we know there's going to be medical bills coming. We're going to help with their house payment, their car payment, their phone, their medical bills that they don't even know that are going to be coming from that. Of that $2.9 million, tax dollars, all those dollars was from cases that our attorneys settle, and instead of going to court, these big companies will pay us instead of going to court because they know they're going to lose. I think there were 4 states that lined up against Meta today in the state of California, and basically using their state law, their Consumer Protection Act, protecting their residents to sue this company. We have one gentleman that does just pharmaceutical companies. I mean, if they're misadvertising, misrepresenting, we're on. The things that's going on in our office, cryptocurrency. This one right here, this is a huge item in today's world of scam and fraud. No more is it buying gift cards. No more is it going out and getting cash. If they have you get cash, they're having you get cash to go put it in a crypto kiosk. And a crypto kiosk looks like an ATM, but it doesn't distribute money like a bank ATM. So therefore it doesn't fall under the guidelines of the FDIC. Cryptocurrency is not really regulated by any national organization, any country in the world. It's kind of a crazy investment market. And in that crazy investment market, it's $1 billion industry. In the crazy scam market, it is $1 billion industry. So far, we got $2 billion industries in just one word. The kiosk, where you go put the money in. You think, man, really? There's almost 400 kiosks in the state of Kansas right now. You can go buy cryptocurrency. I did a senior fair. In Hayes, in the old mall, and they had a crypto machine. They had a kiosk in the old mall. I mean, they're in Casey's. This is not an uncommon thing. This is how they're getting people to pay the debt now. The reason why I bring up this cryptocurrency is that 3 years ago, we had an attorney pick up the torch on cryptocurrency. He knew nothing about it. He spent 1.5 years investigating it. To this day, he's gotten refunds from 5 international banks. He's got 30 different refunds. He has figured out on the dark web, if you put money into a kiosk and you get a receipt, there's a transaction number that is tied to that receipt to one international final bank account. It may transfer through what they call blockchains. Could be a bank blockchains. It may transfer 15 times before it gets to there. But our attorney Jake figured out on the dark web, if he can get the copy and the number of that receipt in a couple of days, he can lock that bank account down. And let me tell you, if you've been scammed and they put money in that account, they've probably had 20, 50, 100, thousands of other people scammed and put money into that account. As soon as he finds that bank account, he calls international banking, gets the FBI involved, locks it down. And these people are emailing him like within 24 hours saying, hey, can you get my bank account open? What's it going to take to get my bank account open? Well, as a matter of fact, we will do that. However, you have to wire us the money for this amount for this transaction. He's strong-arming. Then he turns in the bank account to international banking. Then they get shut down after he gets the refund. Egypt, Nigeria, Ethiopia. There's a couple more countries that he's, because it's happening all over the world. Why are these banks ending up in different countries like that? Because the FDIC regulations and banking regulations in second world and third world countries are not the same as they are here in the United States. Okay? The regs are just different. That's cryptocurrency. We're going to talk about internet scams. We're going to talk about identity theft, romance scams. Door to door, not so much. Really door to door this time of the year, it's political season and there's people everywhere in every town. It was crazy. There was people knocking on doors in Wichita that were being paid to knock on doors and were from Texas. And told them, hey, why would you come knock on my door? Can you not see that sign? The guy goes, I don't care. I get paid by the hour. I don't even live here. Walked off. So A lot of door-to-door canvassing, that it's a tough thing. Open government complaints. If you see something, say something. Because our office is the office to hold cities and counties accountable for these backroom meetings, for these deals that are going on. And I'm going to bring this up because I know it's a hot topic everywhere I go. Right now, what more local county governments are going to get in trouble for over the next 24 months is all these negotiations over data centers. Because it's happening in every community. And I mean every community. And our state's already put regulations in place 2 years ago. By the way, we have the least of applications for data centers in the United States. But I'm just telling you, because they're trying to figure out, local governments are trying to figure out how we can possibly lure in and get some revenue and help out our local community, not really understanding the level that's been done at the state level to protect some of our communities so they're not overloaded. But I'm just going to tell you, data centers, that's a hot topic. Doesn't matter where I go, because there's applications all across the state. I'm not going to give you an opinion on one or the other. I'm just saying that is a hot topic that is creating a lot of backroom meetings because people are trying to figure out, and they're trying to be the first. They're trying to get the lead on this. All right. Office of the Attorney General, I tried everything. You know what? I forgot my remote. Now, mind you, I travel with a little bit of stuff. All this stuff. I mean, I got 2 wagons. I can't handle all just one wagon. I travel too, and I forgot my remote to my TV. So I can't use my TV. All I can do, the best I can give you, is my laptop. I've got a couple of screens that I want to really just advance to, just because if you want to get this information, this is where it's going to. Okay. Okay. The number of cases, this is really the one that I wanted to have here, so if you need to, come take a picture of this. This is consumer protection. If you need to file a complaint with the Attorney General's office, you have to do it in writing. And if you put it in writing, it will get processed. It doesn't matter how small, how big. It doesn't matter if you put it in on a Sunday or a Tuesday. It comes out, and every single one, if it is in writing, we follow up with it. As soon as we receive your complaint, you get a letter that says, hey, we received your complaint. We're going to look into it, and we'll let you know what we can do or cannot do. If you scan this QR code right now, it will take you to our complaint form. The first question it's going to ask you, are you a business? If you're a business and you're trying to file a complaint with the Attorney General's office, it doesn't work because we only represent residents of the state of Kansas. We do not represent businesses of the state. We're trying to protect the residents from people doing bad business. We're not on their side. And it's not like we're not for business, because we are. However, we want it to be upstanding. We want all your transactions to be good transactions, solid transactions. If I just gave an example, if I just said, I would hate to venture in, ask how many in the room have ever experienced a bad car deal. Maybe me, yeah, that's a perfect example. We've got different dealerships that don't do business that we're in their doors on a regular basis with investigators holding them accountable. So, earlier, you said everybody shut your phones off. I got to do some clarifying here, because this is nowhere even close to just a phone. The old signal still works. Call me. Yeah, okay. I grew up on a party line. 1987 is when my parents' party line got removed and we had our own line. And you know what? We were able to upgrade to a push button phone when we got off the party line. Still had the same 60-foot cord that could go anywhere on the first level of the house. Okay? You guys know what I'm talking about? That was analog technology. The world we live in today, this is where it gets serious, and I hope to scare the pants off some of you because this is how real this is. We live in a digital world. This is not a phone. This is a VPN. It's called a virtual private network. It's no different than a computer. I can pull up my computer forms on my phone. I can do video FaceTime with my granddaughter. Oh, I'm talking into it and it just lit up. It's listening to you all the time. It will track your heart rate. It will track your sleep monitoring if you let it. It tracks your steps. It'll track your location wherever you're going. So when somebody says phone, I use that term loosely because I'm wanting you to understand some of the definitions that we're dealing with, because no longer do they have to have a number. On a computer, I can use your phone number and set it up on my computer and digitally call you from your own phone number. That's how much of a digital world we live in. And they used to have to get our calling logs. About 5 years ago, AT&T got hacked. And by law, businesses, when they get hacked, all they have to say is, we got hacked. They don't have to do anything. Our information was compromised. It got so serious with AT&T, they were losing customers faster than they could gain customers, because it started out that 75 million customers got hacked. Then it went to 100, 135 million, 150 million. They had to come clean. Listen, we lost none of your personal data. Yeah. You know what they gave up? You know what they lost? Your call logs. So think about this. Of all the numbers that you have in your phone, if you could take a piece of yarn and tie that piece of yarn to all those people around you, that's your VPN network. You may not be on social media and you're getting weird advertisements. Well, in your network, I guarantee you got grandkids, great-grandkids, that are in social media, which is tied into your network, which is how they get you. Nowadays, anybody going to the state fair? You go to the state fairgrounds, there is a form of reaching you on your cell phone. It's called geofencing. I, as an advertiser, and it happens at the state fair by several manufacturers, Verizon, AT&T, they know that the state fair is the largest event in the state of Kansas, and almost 200,000 people are going to attend through those gates in a 10-day window. Nothing else is bigger than that in the state of Kansas. Okay? Not even Kansas Speedway on a great race day. Companies will pay. The best way to describe it, does anybody remember the Truman Show? Jim Carrey, where he lived in that dome? That's what geofencing is. If you can imagine that dome over the fairgrounds, all 640 acres, every single person that walks in, as soon as you turn on your phone, is going to get a message from AT&T or Verizon, because it's a digital world and they can reach you. They don't have to have your name. They don't have to have your number. They can geofence. And it happens at the hardware store too. Go walk through Home Depot. Look up something and try to look up something on social media or say something about what you're going to buy at Home Depot. You take another 20 steps, you're going to get an ad for what you're looking for. Might even tell you what aisle. if you're in your favorite location store that you have on. I mean, this thing tracks all the time. Now, the manufacturers now have services on iPhones and Androids where you can shut it off to where if there's not a name attached to that number, it doesn't ring, doesn't text, doesn't interrupt, goes into like a call log of the abyss of all these unknown calls. The service providers have been doing it for years because they know we're in a digital world When they recognize somebody using a number off of a digital panel, and there's no name attached to it or no company attached to it, you know what they tell you on your phone when it rings? Spam risk. Because there's no individual attached to that number. That's called spam risk. So the service providers are trying to help. Manufacturers, whether you have a Droid, whether you have an iPhone, I'll stay to midnight if I have to change every single one of your phones personally to get them to switch over to where you don't have to hear unknown calls. If there's not a name in your phone, it does not interrupt. If they want to leave a message, great, they can leave a message. Don't give me the excuse the doctor's office is going to call. HEPA says that they can't post their number anyway, and they're using a digital deal, and it always comes up unknown. Because that's what they got to label their system as, unknown. Is this making sense? When you get a call that's not attached to any number and says spam risk, and you say hello, and you hear click, and click, first of all, hang up. First of all, we're gonna get through this first thing, is that if it doesn't have a name attached, you don't answer it. And if you by chance are weak in a moment and you accidentally do hang up, let me tell you, you're gonna hang up in the first 10 seconds because it's no longer rude in today's world. Back in the day when you had party lines, well, that was different because your neighbor could have been listening. That's the truth of the matter. You gotta, and by the way, this is a VPN. They know when you're on it. Anybody use Messenger, Facebook Messenger? When you go in and chat with people in your Messenger, there's a green dot by your friends so you can see who's online, and then they move up. When somebody comes on, then they move up. That's a service that all softwares have. They can identify your VPN being on. Messenger just uses it to their advantage, so you keep talking with your friends. Oh, I haven't talked to them in a while, I'll just shoot them a little message. They're identifying who's on, because they can see. And all they have to do is have that app open. Okay, are you understanding how VPN is tracking you? When you get a text and you decipher that you received a text and it is a scam or fraud, you delete only. You do not delete and report spam, because guess what you're doing? You're notifying the scammer that's on a digital computer that sent you that first text, and you just send him a text that says, oh, I got you figured out, buddy. It's a scam, and I ain't falling for it. They're on, hit them with 5 more. You'll get 5 more texts within the next 7 minutes, because that's their strategy. That's part of their algorithm. If they know you're on, they're going to hit you. If you answer the phone by chance and it's the wrong number, my brochure's on the back in the back of the room. Over 90% of romance scams start with the wrong number. First of all, let me just tell you how and why. They've already profiled you, because this has already profiled you. Ever tried to go onto a software where you have to accept the cookies to get onto the software? They just got all your info. It's got your age, your sex, your wealth level, your marriage status, whether you're widowed, you got insurance, whether you own a car, whether you own property. It's profiling you. This thing is tracking you at all times. And when you give up those cookies just to see a little social media ad, you're exposing yourself to having fraudsters call you. Let me explain the fraudsters. Fraudsters are no longer people in a garage working like a couple of people. Without exception, every organized crime organization in the world is involved with fraud and scamming digitally right now. And think about this. They've been trafficking humans for years. They already got that part figured out. Now they don't even have to turn them around. They can just keep them in one spot, control inventory, and say, hey, you're going to keep calling, making me money. And if you try to tell me no, I could either put a bullet in your head, or I could possibly just break you a finger of one of your kids. You want to make some calls? So don't try to understand how they're getting to you or how can these people do this, because they're doing it from a survival standpoint to try to save their family, to save their lives, because they're in a bad situation. These people are not good people. That's why I say every time somebody takes a chance and says hello to a strange number, you're susceptible. The romance scams, 90% of them start like this. Hello, Betty. Is this Betty? What's your name? Judy. Oh, Judy. This is George. I tell you what, I was trying to get a hold of Betty, but I got you on the phone, and I got this thing, and do you got a minute? Man, I'm just so excited about it. How are you today, Judy? They've already profiled her, and I'm not saying this about you, but they've already profiled whether you're a widow or not, and they know how long that's been, so they're targeting the lonely. Know that. That's where you have to. I do these seminars for banks. You know the hardest is for the tellers, because they're the ones that get confronted with the people going through the drive-thru that are on the phone. There's banks that can tell you that, man, we've had customers come in and get $25,000 and the phone was on in the pocket and the fraudster was listening the entire time. I know banks right now, when they suspect somebody is getting frauded, because they're on the phone in the drive-thru, they ask them to come in the lobby. Hey, this is a personal transaction. We can't be having you on the phone. We're not going to do this. Please come in the lobby and we'll get you taken care of. They slam a piece of paper across the desk that says, somebody on the phone listening to this. Before they say hello or anything, they have 4 questions on a piece of paper that says, is somebody listening to you? Are you being forced into taking money out of an account? In the bank lobby. And guess what? The customers lie to the bankers. Let me tell you, these fraudsters are so good. Once they can get you out of a calm, cold state of mind where you can rhyme and reason, you can do puzzles, things make sense, you correct grammar, you look at a page and go, look at those 3 typos in like 2 seconds. My wife does that, I don't. I make them. Those types of traits of different people, they're taking advantage and trying to play on our cycles of life. They know when Christmas is. They know when you're going to get the most shipments and packages between October and December in the United States. And let me tell you, okay, in our family, if you have an emergency, you got to call 3 times in a row. I got 30-year-old daughters, 85-year-old parents. Here's the deal. Because we're all going. Sometimes we're in meetings. My wife did that to me. I'm doing a presentation. And I'm like, I'm sorry, this is headquarters. I show a picture of my wife, and I'm like, yes, dear, right there, everything okay? Her first question was, did you order an iPad? No, goodbye. Okay, she has no accounts online. She orders nothing online. She has no Amazon account. She has no PayPal account. I pay her bills electronically. I have different accounts. When she runs out of hairspray, she takes the empty hairspray jar and she puts it on my desk, and Shazam, 3 days later, 3 full bottles of beer. It's just amazing. She never gets interrupted. She never is notified. She has never known when they're delivering anything. She is not on our account whatsoever. If she wants to look at Amazon, I have to open it up on my phone and let her shop through Amazon, okay? And she got a text that caught her off guard because she was in a meeting. I was talking about buying a laptop. I already had 3 iPads. I was needing a laptop for a touch laptop screen, kind of something like this, to make it a little easier to operate. And she saw a text come through that said our Amazon account had an iPad on hold, and all she had to do was tap right here, and it's going to get delivered. That's called phishing. P-H-I-S-H-I-N-G. They do it with text, they do it with phone calls, They do it with computers. There's a movie out called Beekeeper. The premise of that movie, it's a violent movie at the end, I will tell you, but I'm going to tell you. I was told, because I do this all the time, hey, you got to go watch this movie. Okay. The first time I tried, the first 10 minutes, it was kind of slow. And I saw what was happening. And I talk about this to people every day. And I couldn't. I was like, well, first of all, this isn't entertainment. I talk about this every day. This makes my guts hurt. I feel like I get punched in the stomach every time somebody tells me about a fraud scam. I'm not watching this movie. I calmed down. I came back in and Cheryl's like, my wife's like, honey, you really need to see this. And the basis of that movie is a Microsoft scam. If you get a pop-up from Microsoft that says you got too much space, you got a virus, you got something's wrong with your computer, shut it off.
Yeah.
Shut it off. If it's a desktop, go pull the plug. Because a lot of times when you get that pop-up, it won't let you do anything. It won't even let you do anything else on your screen except that pop-up. So the only way you can get out of it is to pull your power. The basis of the movie Beekeeper is a Microsoft screen, or a Microsoft scam. And then they went in and cleaned out they got into her computer, and then they cleaned out millions of dollars. And then Jason Strahan goes to one of the scam companies, and one of the best parts is he walks in with 2 5-gallon buckets into a corporation, big corporation. Goes up to the receptionist and says, I would probably tell everybody to get out of here because I'm about to burn this place down. And that is an example in that movie how these companies were transferring money from one of those corporations to the other, back to the other. In crypto, they call those blockchains. And what they're trying to do is lessen the amount. If I can get 100 grand out of you in one transaction, the next transactions, the next blockchain is going to be $10,000 transactions, because now it's a lower number and it's a lot less likely to be tracked. You know, if you go to the bank right now and you ask for $3,000 cash, they're going to ask you what's it for. By law, they have to. And they actually have to fill out a report when you leave, because that's FDIC guidelines. Here's another thing I want to tell you about your local bank. It has free identity protection for you. If you don't have identity protection on your name and your social security number right now, you need to call your bank tomorrow and ask them, and I would even go in, visit them, say, hey, I got a checking account here, I got a bank account. Most banks aren't going to advertise it, but guess what? Their job is to protect your assets. Because your assets are their assets. They only make money on interest and fees, yeah, that's it. So it behooves them to take care of your money. I did a project at Home Depot. I didn't have a Home Depot card. Home Depot is running a promotion. If you spend more than $2,500 and you get a Home Depot card, they'll give you $500. My cart was $3,200, and so I said, I'll do that for $500. My little local bank in Baldwin City, Kansas, has fraud protection. And the gal was being super apologetic. Says, usually this takes just a couple of seconds. I'm now standing in line. My phone's buzzing in my pocket. I didn't want to be rude. I'm not going to answer the phone and say hello. I got people behind me. I'm trying to take care of business. Finally, I just take my phone out of my pocket and look at it real quick. It was my ID protection, notifying me that somebody was at Home Depot opening up a credit account, and if it was me, press yes. I pressed yes. She turned around in less than 5 seconds. We live in a digital world, folks. They're watching all the time. It's instant. You think they're not listening, you think, oh, no. If it's on, you're in a digital world, you're susceptible. You're susceptible to geofencing. You're susceptible to phishing. And just think about it. All it really takes is how many numbers you got on your phone. How many contacts? How many lines of yarn would you need for all those contacts? If you just had one line. Charitable giving. I got to talk about charitable giving because there's a couple rules that are absolute with charitable giving. One is give. Give back to your community. My goodness, I'm sure I don't have to say this to you folks, you've been established in this community, but man, give to your church, give back to your communities. However, never give to an organization that calls you on the phone. Never give to an organization on the phone. If they call you and they prick your heart and say, man, I really want to give, hang up, call that organization directly, write them a check, send it to them. That's my coaching on charitable giving because, man, there's a lot of that out there. There's a state police association that's non-existent. And they only take credit transactions. They won't let you mail a check. First of all, that should be a red flag. If an organization will only take a credit card, that should be a red flag. So last I checked, what is it, Labor Day, when the policemen and the firemen, they go stand out in the streets with buckets and boots and beg for money? They'll take it however you give it. Write a check, sure. It's not a scammers, they only want to deal digital. That's what you have to be aware of. A couple other things I want to talk about that the romance scams, these are the toughest. Typically they involve the largest amounts of dollars. Whoever finds out about it first and tries to confront the person over the romance scam, messenger's always shocked. Never go alone. Never go alone, and you can't tell them, no, you can't do this. You don't understand. If you have somebody, if you have a friend in your network that you think is involved with a romance scam, we've got numbers here. You get a hold of me. Rosemary's got my number where she can call me directly. I volunteer my services because if you know somebody that's in a romance scam, here's how I would approach it. We need to go visit that person, maybe with a law enforcement officer. And then when you get there, you're going to have them call you, ask them nicely, hey, I had a couple questions. Would you be willing to just get an outside opinion from the Attorney General's office that deals with this every day? Call me. I'll have an investigator and an attorney in the room, and they ask questions. And it's them asking questions. You know how sometimes when somebody asks you a question and you speak it out loud and then you hear it, and it's like, ooh, that didn't sound like that. Ooh, sorry. That didn't come out right. Typically, that's what happens. A lot of times in romance scams, you're dealing with a widow that's lonely, and if it's gone on for more than 60 days, they're emotionally attached, and a lot of times they've already told this person that they're in love. And I can tell you a first-hand experience. I worked at a bank. I was a business development officer at a bank. We had a customer that was a long-time customer, like retired age, had a firm still, widowed. We didn't catch it till it became a $10,000 transaction. And for 12 months, it was only 2 and 3. And when the $10,000 came through, I recognized it, called my boss meeting, called vice president, got the president involved, and said, hey man, you said I'm the one that's supposed to look through weird stuff. This looks weird to me. We call him in. He's one of the president's 5 best friends. This is not somebody that, he's still got it, he's all together, man. This is not like somebody that doesn't know what's going on. He's still active in 50 organizations, 10 different boards. Come into the president's office, president, CFO, vice president, and myself, I come in and we're talking to him, the scammer calls. He's already told us that he's said that he's in love. And he's been sending money to and he gave us 5 or 6 different reasons why he sent money. He put her on speakerphone. Upper management of the bank is standing in the room, of a bank that has been there, brick and mortar, for over 100 years. And this gal has got him just like this and is trying to tell him, sitting in the bank, we're the scammers. We're trying to take advantage of him. When he realized, and he came to, and he looked at his best friend, immediate weeping. Immediate. We found out later, one of his daughters, who he'd been on the outs with, had caught on to it and said something to him, and she went to him by herself because she didn't know that anybody else knew, and she went and said something to him, and she's like, you know what, this is none of your business. Don't you ever bring it up again, and they kind of had a falling out. That's what was revealed. That started with the wrong number. And he was lonely, and he picked up the phone, and he started talking, and had a conversation, just, that's how good they are. And that's why I bring it up, because specifically that is one of the ones that are, of the scams that are out there, highest on the emotional chart. Even higher than your grandkids being in an accident in Mexico and they're in jail because they were drinking and they got in a car accident and they need $5,000. Anybody hear anything like that? Hang up. I mean, literally, first of all, I don't know why you answer that phone number, but hang up. Those are the types of things they're trying to get you emotionally distraught, because if they get you out of a cold state, you have no sense of reasoning. You have no sense of reflex. Sometimes when people go into shock, their digits don't work. They can't dial a phone. There's a pamphlet on the back that we hand out, that I hand out, that talks people through. Your body naturally goes, when you get into an emergency, scientifically, whether you realize this or not, there is an actual scientific thing that happens in your body, and it's called fight or flight. And when you're in flight, you can't think. You can't talk. You don't know directions. You don't know numbers. You're just like, Some people respond in flight. Some people respond in fight. Some people are like immediately, first of all, you call 911, you go get a rag, you call their sister, that's a fighter, okay? These scammers are trying to get you in flight. If they can get you in flight, then they know you are not thinking clearly. And they will tell you some of the craziest, wildest stories, and you'll just keep eating it up because they got you into that. Really? They got my name on a bank account in New York with a terrorist group. And it's got $300,000 in it. Can I have any of that? That's what they told me. They had New York Attorney General. New York Attorney General. Number one scam area code is Jamaica and Washington, D.C., area code 202. By the way, New York Attorney General is 212. That was the only thing that gave it up, because I'm on the phone, this guy's telling me he's the Attorney General, so I know mind you, I work for the Attorney General of Kansas, and I'm getting a call from the Attorney General of New York, and I'm like, I'm looking you up right now. I put it on speakerphone, I looked at the number, when I put it on speakerphone, I looked at it, and the page popped up, 202, 212, click. Then I had to not answer 4 different times after that over the next 10 minutes because they kept trying to call me back. Nobody, our Attorney General takes calls all the time. And he had a scammer try to tell him that he was going to be arrested in the county that he resides in because he had an outstanding fee in a court case. And he's like, well, who is it? Because he knows all the judges. And he's like, well, who is it? For what case? Give me the number. And he's like, well, sir, you can't just go down there. They're going to arrest you. No, they're not. Tell me the guy's name. Tell me the judge. I make a call. No, sir. If you go down to the courthouse, you're going to get arrested. I'm not going to get arrested. Yes, you. Why do you think you're not going to get arrested? Because I'm the Attorney General. You know what the scammer says? No, you're not. True story. I witnessed it. I heard it. I mean, there's no boundaries. They'll try anything if they think they're going to make a buck. Okay? Other things on identity theft. Never give your information to a government agency if they're calling you. First of all, don't give your information to anybody that's calling you. Period. I don't care if they say they're the President of the United States. And I think you don't actually get that call from the President. I think somebody calls you and says, hey, this is the President's line. And you take the call from the President so you don't have to worry about that in case that happens. Anybody want to put their phone to where they don't have to take unknown calls? Who's got an iPhone? Okay. Everybody, we're going to do this real quick as a group because it's that simple. Everybody's got an iPhone. Get your phone out and open it up in settings. I don't even have to do it on my phone because I've got this memorized. I also have this memorized for Droid too, and Google phones because they're all the same. And this is something you might want to take some notes on because, and here's why. You know how you always get updates? Droids, almost every time they update, it shuts off. And you have to go back in and turn it back on. iPhones, about every 3 updates, you have to go back in and toggle it on and turn it back on. Okay, if you have an iPhone, go to settings. Okay, we're in settings. You're going to scroll to the bottom of the screen, all the way to the bottom where it says apps. You're going to tap on apps. Go to settings. Now scroll to the bottom of the screen. I'll help you afterwards, I promise. Listen, this is valuable. If I can prevent one person from getting 10 calls in a day, I'll do it individually if that's what it takes. I'm just trying to do it as a group. If there's questions, I'll stay as long as I need to make sure every phone gets set. Okay, once you tap into apps, you're going to scroll down to see the green phone icon. You're looking for phone. They're in alphabetical order, so you got to scroll down to the P's and click on the phone. See the headset? Old days. Click on the phone. When you click on the phone, it takes you into settings for the phone. And at the bottom of this, you scroll to the bottom again. When you get to the bottom, it says unknown callers. You can toggle that unknown callers, and there's another one for spam. Block spam, click spam. That's a new feature, by the way. And then right above that, there's a little checkbox. You can turn that blue check on and off. Well, I've got them silenced to where it silences any spams, any unknown callers. So when they try to call you, well, here's what happens. It goes into a call log. Here's my recent call logs. And you know when you miss a call, it says their name in red? Well, I have it filtered, so right now, if I go to unknown callers, here's a copy of all the spam calls that I've had that never interrupt my day. Now, let me tell you something. You're not going to miss any information, and you're not going to miss a call. Because when that person calls in your phone, and you don't have their name, it's going to send them, it doesn't even ring on their end. It goes straight to voicemail. It forces them and puts them into voicemail. They can leave you a message, and you can call them back. Doctors' offices have to do it that way. They have to do it that way because their number comes up unknown every single time. Okay.
Wait, question.
Yeah.
You turn off spam.
Yep.
You turn on.
Yep.
Phone call.
No, that one too. Okay? And you're already silenced. So basically you're just turning on those toggles and they're turning green on unknown callers. Yes?
Could you go back to that phone again? I went to the bottom of my phones.
Okay.
Forward to the bottom.
Okay, scroll. You're in the phone settings. And you're going to the bottom.
Yep.
Okay, this is yours. Hang on a second. Oh, right here. Oh, go back right there. I just missed it. Okay, scroll down. Right here. Unknown callers. Toggle that right there. Make that green. Done. Done. Android. Green, not your favorites, not your past calls. You're going to pull up your phone like you're going to dial a number. Like I'm at the keypad on my Android. Everybody there? Okay, when you're on an Android, you go to your keypad just like this. And at the top right hand side, there's 3 dots. Hit the 3 dots. One of them just said settings. Hit settings. As soon as you hit settings, like the 3rd or 4th line down is going to say block numbers. Click on block numbers. And there's a toggle and if you've blocked any numbers in your phone, there's going to be a list of numbers under block numbers right now. That's the list that you're looking at. And it doesn't matter if you block every number in the whole wide world because I can use any one of those numbers again digitally. Nope, just at the top, there's a deal that says unknown. Toggle it and turn it on your Droid. Did everybody get there? Block calls from unknown callers, and you just hit that on and it turns green. Huh? Blue. I'm sorry, blue. Mine's green. Green. So I can't set your backgrounds. I don't do that. That feature in itself, be aware of that. That's not, yes, ask. What do we got?
Is that what we do?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you on a Droid or an iPhone?
Now yours is mine did it for like well, but I don't
Same thing. Go through settings, same thing. Now, I can tell you, it takes a couple more steps, but on an iPhone, you can do that for text as well. That you only receive text from numbers that are names that are in your phone. All of these things, the service providers, the manufacturers, they're all trying to protect you from fraud and scam. Because last year, the number, I've heard some crazy numbers, and the most recent number that I heard was over $67 billion scammed in the United States. Now here's the unfortunate reality that I know about it in our office. We only hear about 20%. We don't get reported everything. Most people don't want to say anything as soon as they get scammed. They're mad, they're embarrassed, they're humiliated, and the last thing they want to do is, you know what I did yesterday? Like a ding-dong head, I gave them money. That conversation's not happening at the coffee shop.
That's all we have to do.
That's it. And you know what? I gotta tell you, there's salesmen at the iPhone stores that don't know how to do that feature. Yes, ma'am. Go through the Android again. Can I see you afterwards before? Because I want to wrap up, and then I'll get both of you on your Androids to go to the 3 dots.
What did you do after you turned that block off?
Turn blue, that's it. That's it. Okay. See how I just created some shirts? All right, I'm gonna slow down. Yes, sir.
I already have mine on block, but I get 15 to 20 calls a day.
Toggle it again. Toggle it again because you've had an updated. So you've had a software update. You need and your setting was already on, so you have to turn it off and turn it back on after you've had an update. That's exactly the feature when you hit updates. Okay, you're already on. You're already done. You're unknown callers right there. Yeah. Well, it doesn't work for your iPhone. What about a what? That I'd have to do some. You know what? That's a great thing. This is what I'm going to do, Rosemary. I'm going to type out the instructions because they updated them and I don't have them printed off, or I'd read them to you because every time they do an update, they change them just a little bit. On the text, I'm pretty sure you go in through the same settings, and instead of phone, you go into messages and you shut off unknown callers. I gotta double check. I will send you an email out and get it to Rosemary, and then if you want to distribute to the group to help you with text. Okay? Because I know this is a big deal because we get interrupted every day. Everybody gets interrupted every day. And I gotta tell you, some organizations, if you're in their system, it doesn't matter if you try to block them, they're going to get through. I got to tell you, I give blood. I go to Red Cross all the time. I stop by Wichita. I drive through. I'm like, man, it's been 8 weeks. They've been pounding me on the phone to try to get blood because you go one day after 8 weeks, and guess who's calling? The American Red Cross because they need blood. Of all the unknown callers that come through on my phone because I give blood and I have a donor card, anytime the Red Cross comes through, it says Red Cross, and I don't have that number in my phone. I've got their app because I've given like 4 gallons. That's why I did it. I want to keep track. So there's tricks. What I want to assure you all is that fraud and scam for our office, for the Attorney General, and the seriousness of it, I'm out trying to educate people every day. This is my second event today. My first one was in Eureka, Kansas. Tomorrow, I'm in El Dorado. This is truly what I do for a living, is educate people to hopefully prevent somebody from getting scammed out of money, out of property. I got to talk about the younger generation right now. There's no teenagers in this room. But let me tell you, the state of Kansas is number 12 in teen suicide. That sucks for me to have to tell you that. You know what else is really terrible? 31 teenagers in the state of Kansas killed themselves last year. I think 9 of them were sextortion cases, where they get on the phone and they get into a relationship who they think that they're in a relationship with, and then they send them pictures, and then the person then turns on them and says, hey, if you don't start sending me money, I'm going to send this to your mom, your dad, your grandparents. I'm going to post it on your school. I did a presentation like this. I left that out. The person that asked me to come do the presentation, if I would pull that pamphlet out. Because we have pamphlets on sextortion for teenagers because it's out of control. The digital world that we live in is out of control. I talked about 20 different scams, and the person that asked me to come speak said, there's one more. She didn't even know I had the brochure, and she gave an example of a sextortion case because it was her grandson, less than 90 days of me speaking. I cried. I'm an emotional guy. Somebody tells me they lost their grandson to a or they're bullying somebody, it has to go through a mom and dad's filter. It's called bark. It's sad that we're having to do these kinds of things, but we're also dealing with those parents that have bark on their phones. Also the same parents that probably gave their kid an iPhone at 10. Those are some of the things that we're facing. 50% of teenagers in the United States in today's world. 50%. Now, I'm not making this up. This comes straight from our teen suicide coordinator, and this is what she does. I couldn't do her job. I couldn't talk about teen suicide every day. I do presentations like that, and they start talking about sex trafficking, and I walk out. That's not me. I'm not hired to do that. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to know the cases. I know it's there. La la la. I'm not putting myself through that emotionally. There are people that work in that field. That's what they do, and they can handle that, and that's great. 50% of teens in today's world believe this is the answer to their problems because they don't have an adult in their life that they trust that they can talk to, and they think this is what solves their problems. Next time you're in a room and you're with your grandkids and they're on their phones, politely ask them to put it down. It's okay and it's fair. Hey, we're on limited time. You think your kid's 16, you got nothing but time, and we're boring you, we'll put your phone down, I'm on limited time, and I want your attention. Am I wrong? I mean, it's fair to ask. It's fair to ask in today's world. They may throw a fit, they may think, but they don't know what they don't know. And that's why parents have to still parent kids. We have to coach our adult kids because they go through situations and they're like, man, I've never went through this, and man, I think that was 72 when I went through that. I'll tell you how I did. Makes it a lot simpler. That's all I have for tonight. I want to thank you very much for having me come back. I will come back again and again and again. If there's anybody that needs additional phone settings, let me tell you, I'm not leaving. I'll be the last out of here because I want to make sure everybody's phones are set the way they want so they're not getting interrupted. Because it's annoying as all get out. Thank you.
Thank you.